Hello and welcome to the channel. Happy Friday. My name is Tyler. I'm a guitar player here on YouTube, and today I got a fun video about the Orange Crush 20-watt practice amp. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what that looks like, show you guys the box and everything that it came with from the Chicago Music Exchange. Okay, so this is the amp. This is what I'm going to be going over today. But before I get into that, I'm going to get into a little history about the brand Orange. Orange got its start in 1968 in England when it opened up as a electronic repair shop for amplifiers, PA systems, basically anything electronic in the music industry. They had a shop where they would go ahead and fix that for you. And they realized that that's not where all the money is. So what they did in 1968 was they started to develop their own products under their own brand names. And then the first ever PA system that they developed was actually purchased by the band members of Fleetwood Mac. And they bought the PA system. They loved it so much. A couple weeks later, they came back. They bought 6 amps and 16 cabs. And they took all of those amps and cabs all over their tour of the United Kingdom. And then a couple months later, they took him to the US, and Orange blew up. And it was one of the biggest amps in the 60s, carried on into the 70s, and everybody loved the Orange sound, the Orange look. It was just a craze that took over. And one thing to note is in the 70s, there was a lot of psychedelic music, which was popular at the time. And for whatever reason, the psychedelic artists would gravitate towards the Orange amps because they just sounded the best for what they were doing. And so Orange quickly became one of the highest selling amplifier brands in the early 1970s. In 1972, upon strenuous trial and error and just basically experimentation, there was a breakthrough in Orange where their true sound, as we know today, was created. And that was just due to the guys over at Orange wanting to create something that no one's ever heard before. So what they did was they went into the electronic panel of the amp and replaced it to all what they call digital pixels. And that caused the amp to go into a state of being overdriven. And obviously, as you know today, everyone's craving overdrive. They'll throw pedals on to recreate that sound. But that was actually created in 1972 in the Orange shop with just a whole bunch of experimentation. And that sound blew up even bigger than they did initially. And then a little artist by the name of Jimmy Page was like, hey, let me try this thing. So obviously, when Led Zeppelin, one of the biggest bands of 1972, of all the 1970s, probably of all time, had one of the Orange amps on stage. Of course, he still had his Marshalls and stuff like that next to him, but the fact that he had a big Orange cab on stage, everybody wanted an Orange amp. And then another interesting fact about Orange is also in 1972, Stevie Wonder recorded his song Superstition on Orange amps as well. So in the 1970s, things were looking really, really good for Orange. But as the decade progressed, come the 80s, there was not really any psychedelic music. Jimmy Page went back to using just Marshalls, and you couldn't really find any new Orange amps in the 80s or early 90s. So what happened is they, instead of mass producing amps, they just went to custom ordered. So they would work super hard on these specific amplifiers for just 1-2 customers, and if you found an orange amplifier in the 80s or 90s, you were hard pressed to find another one. And then in 1993, that started to change when Gibson swoops in and tries to buy Orange to start making them under the huge umbrella that is Gibson. And there was a whole bunch of back and forth. They didn't want to sell the rights over to Gibson, but in 1993 they eventually did. So from 1993 to 1997, Orange was actually owned and was a subset of Gibson. And right smack dab in the middle of 1993 and 1997, an artist by the name of Noel Gallagher, the guitar player of Oasis, decided that he wanted to bring Orange back as one of the leading amps in music. So what he did is he recorded all his albums from 1993 on to 1997 on Orange amps. He gigged with Orange, and people were like, hey, I remember those guys. And slowly people started more and more going back to Orange. And now today you'll see Jim Root of Slipknot. He has Orange amps, and there's so many players that use Orange. And even today you'll still see the big old orange cab on Jimmy Page's just wall of sound that he has on stage. But he's always got that beautiful orange Tolex shining through in his sea of Marshalls. So as a company that started off repairing amps from Fender, Marshall, and whoever they brought in, and now today they're actually one of the leading competitors of Fender, Marshall, Vox. All the name brands, Orange is right up there, as they should be, because they sound amazing, and I'll show you guys that right now. Okay, before I get into the demo, I'm just going to show you guys a close-up of the amp. It's got a 1x8 inch speaker, I believe. It's very handheld, very portable. It's got a nice durable handle, got a little LED, a headphone jack, aux, 2 channels, clean and dirty. This is the volume for the dirty. Got your standard 3-band EQ, bass, treble, mid. You have gain, which something worth noting, the gain will only affect the dirty channel. The gain has no effect on the clean channel. And the last thing you got is the clean volume and then the input. And then nothing too crazy on the back. And one thing to note on the back, it's got the channel for the foot switch. It takes the Orange FS1, so you can just hook a little foot switch up to that, so you can switch between the dirty and clean channel without touching the amp. Okay, and I'm just going to start off with the clean channel. Okay, now let's slap on some gain. Okay, so as you can see, not a bad little amp. I picked that guy up for $107 shipped from the Chicago Music Exchange. The retail price on this guy is $150, but since it came as an open box item, I was able to get a $43 discount on that. And the Chicago Music Exchange on Reverb, they're great. If you live in the Chicago area, I'm sure it's a lovely store to go into. I do not live in the area, but anytime I've dealt with them, they've been nothing but the best. So I highly recommend checking out their Reverb store. If you don't live close by, or if you do, go ahead and stop in, because I'm sure they have some great deals there as well. But other than that, that just about wraps up the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If at any point in the video there was some background noise, I apologize. There's people working on the house, and hopefully that wasn't too much of an issue. But thank you guys so much for watching. I have a new guitar coming next week. There should be a video up on that next Friday. And again, thank you. Have a good one. Bye.